Why did you decide to take on the case of Maria?
I'm a huge admirer of the work that Maria Ressa has been doing and have been for quite some time. So what Rappler does is so important. The work that it does in the Philippines is critically important, and I've been a huge admirer. And Maria Ressa is a remarkable woman. You may have heard my colleague Amal Clooney this morning referring to her standing at only 5'2", but standing so much taller than the rest of us when it comes to her standing up for what's right and doing her job. And that's absolutely right. And when I was asked to join the team to act for her, I jumped at the chance because I really feel she deserves the best possible team, and I am honoured to be on the team representing such a brave and inspirational person. So last year at least 95 journalists were killed in the course of their work and because of their work. And that's very likely to be a figure that's an underestimate, but it's still a shocking statistic. And one of the most disturbing trends is that more journalists than ever are now being killed in their own communities. So in circumstances which are not conflict zones. So these are not war reporters who are being killed in the line of fire. They're not collateral damage, that terrible phrase. Many of the people who are being killed specifically because they're being targeted, often for reporting that they're doing on corruption, crime in democratic states, including deaths of journalists in the European Union and Council of Europe countries and in the US and elsewhere. The other thing that I'd raise just is that there are many journalists facing different types of threats which make their jobs much more difficult to do. So we saw earlier this year the raids in Australia on the ABC offices and on the homes of journalists. And that was the weight of the criminal law being brought to bear upon investigative journalists for doing their jobs. And it's raised very real concerns. I appreciate Australia is now doing inquiries into that matter, but that raises real concerns. So when you have Australia doing that, when you have Donald Trump using the language that he does about journalists and being openly contemptuous about journalists, particularly women of colour who are journalists, that sets the tone for an environment worldwide in which journalists' work is not valued and journalists are at risk and journalists are undermined.